Feel, felt, felt. It really feels good to be back in England. Do you feel like going for a drive? Feeling. I had a strange feeling that something bad was going to happen. Sheila really hurt James's feelings when she called him a fool. Positive feelings. Negative feelings. Show your feelings. Hide your feelings. Positive. Negative. Show, showed, shown. Hide, hid, hidden. Impression. I had the clear impression that you didn't want to go to the cinema. Suppress. If you suppress your feelings, it may only make things worse. Emotion. Jealousy and envy are two unpleasant emotions. Emotional. At her going-away party, Catherine got quite emotional. Mood. When I wake up, I never know if I'm going to be in a good mood or a bad mood that day. Spirit. Team spirit. Spirits. In high spirits. In low spirits. Fond. My grandfather's very fond of all his grandchildren. Care. I really don't care one way or the other. He really does care about his parents. Like. Of course I like you and I do care about you, but I just don't love you. Affection. Tender. Brian can be quite tender when he wants to be. Love. You know I love you. Will you marry me? I love you, Daddy. I love you too, my darling. Janet, I think I'm in love with your husband. I've fallen in love with Jim's brother. Mad. I'm mad about you. Fancy. I didn't know you fancied Phoebe. Madly. Betty's madly in love with her boyfriend. Want. What do you want to be when you grow up? Wish. I've always wanted to go to Greece, and this year my wish is going to come true. I really wish I could emigrate to New Zealand. Desire. Raymond has always felt a strong desire to travel. Appeal. Film stars are generally popular because of their sex appeal, not their acting ability. I'm afraid your idea doesn't appeal to me in the least. Attract. They were attracted to each other immediately. Passion. Attraction. Desire. Dislike. I dislike having to change my plans. Hate. I hate you for what you did to my sister. Stand, stood, stood. I can't stand stupid people. Hatred. Contempt. Prejudice. My father has his prejudices, and one of them is a prejudice against foreigners. Jealous. Glynis is so jealous that she won't let her boyfriend go anywhere by himself. Gareth was jealous of his brother's success. Jealousy. Envious. Gareth has always been envious of his brother. Envy. Anxious. The children were anxious to start playing with their new toys. Excited. Peter was so excited when he saw his new bike. Excitement. Keen. He seemed very keen to meet her. He's very keen on bowling. Willing. What are you willing to do to become a fashion model? Look forward to. David's really looking forward to his 40th birthday party. Eager. The children were very eager to open their presents. Unwilling. Sharon was unwilling to admit that she had made a mistake. Worried. Although he earns a good salary, Roger's still worried about money. Concerned. Karen was concerned about her little brother's safety. Worry. Don't worry, things will probably be better tomorrow. Concern. The school cancelled the trip because of concerns about the children's safety. What concerns me is that government is not spending enough on education. Worry. Doris hasn't got any money worries. Anxious. Most pupils are anxious about taking tests. Afraid. I was afraid that you'd missed your bus. Nervous. Dave's extremely nervous about the chemistry exam on Tuesday. Upset. Julian was terribly upset by the news. Tension. The tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Calm down. Try to calm down and tell us what happened. Anxiety. Keith has finally learnt to cope with his anxiety. Tense. Fear. Judith overcame her fear of animals by taking care of her neighbour's cat last summer. A wise man once said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Afraid. Douglas didn't know why, but he was suddenly afraid. Sue's very afraid of water. Scared. Sandra's scared of heights. What are you so scared about? Frightened. My brother's frightened of the dark. Frightening. Frighten. Being alone in the dark frightens most small children. Terror. The inhabitants of the village fled in terror from their burning houses. Horror. The woman looked on in horror as the car hit the child. Panic. Total panic broke out when the fire alarm went off. Happy. Gwen's a very happy baby, always laughing and smiling. Glad. I'm glad you finally made it home. Smile. Siobhan has such a nice big smile. The child smiled at me and I smiled back. Laugh. The situation was so funny that Kate had to laugh out loud. Laughter. Cheer up. Tell her she's passed the exam. That'll cheer her up. Humour. Stuart has a great sense of humour. Happiness. Their happiness seemed complete when their baby was born. Joy. She jumped for joy when she heard she'd passed her French exam. Enjoy. Are you enjoying yourself? Pleasant. We had a pleasant evening at home. Unpleasant. Pleasure. I always take great pleasure in having a nice warm bath. Enthusiastic. Duncan is very enthusiastic about playing in his band at weekends. Enthusiasm. Enjoyment. Delight. It was a delight having you here. Delighted. She was delighted with her exam results. Satisfy. Some people try very hard to satisfy everyone, but it just doesn't work. Satisfaction. Please. Carl pleased his boss by finishing the report on time. Pleased. Acceptable. We found his offer acceptable, but not as generous as we had expected. Satisfactory. Satisfied. He's not really satisfied with his present salary. Content. Her job is not all that interesting, but she's quite content anyway. Dissatisfied. Surprise. Life is just full of surprises. My boyfriend surprised me by giving me 12 red roses on my birthday. Surprised. surprising. Wonder. She had never seen mountains before, and she stared at them in wonder. It was a terrible film. It's no wonder the kids were bored. Shock. He got the shock of his life when he opened the door. Shocked. Rita was shocked when she heard about her parents' accident. Oh. Oh, what a great car you have. Oops. Unhappy. Sad. Bear, bore, born. The loss of her mother was more than Iris could bear. Suffer. Janet's life has been hard, and she has suffered a great deal. Suffer from. Richard's wife suffers from severe depression. Depression. Depressed. Desperate. Despair. Grief. Comfort. Cry. Tear. Sally came home from school in tears. Weep, wept, wept. Wayne wept when he heard the bad news. Alone. I feel so alone. Leave me alone. Lonely. Aunt Mabel lives all by herself and is very lonely. Long for. The young couple longed for a home of their own. Miss. We really missed our father while he was abroad. Pity. That's a pity. We took pity on the homeless man and bought him a hot meal. Sympathy. He had no sympathy with her because she refused to help herself. Sympathetic. Jane is very sympathetic to people in trouble. Regret. I have never regretted moving to Newport. Sorry. We're very sorry, but we can't come on Friday. I'm sorry about last night. Judy feels sorry for Pam. Disappointed. I was extremely disappointed with my exam results. Disappointment. Bother. John's smoking really bothers me. Disturb. What really disturbs me is his loud voice. Annoying. Sometimes you can be so annoying. Annoyed. Anger. Angry. What is your mother so angry about? My father is really angry with me. Mad. Are you still mad at me? Angrily. Hostile. Rage. When Jennifer saw the damage to her car, she flew into a rage. furious. Nick's mother wasn't just angry, she was furious. Fit. When my wife heard I was going out for a pint, she had a fit. Temper. John's got an awful temper. The boss is really in a terrible temper this morning. Blame. Whenever anything was broken, Mother always blamed Jennifer. Guilty. Don't you feel even a little bit guilty about stealing the money? Fault. It's my fault. I should have warned you. Shame. Embarrassed. Malcolm was very embarrassed that he had forgotten his parents' 25th wedding anniversary. Embarrassing. Red. Tony's very shy. Whenever somebody speaks to him, he turns red. Guilt. Ruth discovered that her fits of depression were caused by feelings of guilt. Ashamed. Kevin was truly ashamed of what he had done. Relief. Hope. I had just given up hope when I was rescued. As far as his illness is concerned, I guess we can only hope for the best. Relieved. Sigh. She sighed with relief when her guests finally left. Appreciate. I'd really appreciate that. Grateful. I'm very grateful to all of you for the help you've given me. Impress. Impressive. Respect. Have respect for somebody or something. Admire. Trust.
Mind. You should bear in mind that this job is how you earn your money. A girl's allowed to change her mind, isn't she? Nellie made up her mind never to return home. Mental. Many mental processes remain a mystery to scientists. Intelligence. Knowledge. Experience. David has already had quite a bit of experience in that area. You'd have to have experienced it yourself to know what I mean. Think, thought, thought. Don't bother me, I'm thinking. I don't think so. Think about, thought about, thought about. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking of? Whenever I think about our last holiday, it makes me laugh. It was a disaster. What do you think of the election results? Think of, thought of, thought of. Regard. She regards John as a close friend. Come up with, came up with, come up with. How do you come up with those fantastic ideas? Thought. That was my first thought as well. At first, Karen thought it was a great idea, but now she's having second thoughts. Concentrate. Concentrate on the text in front of you, please. Concentration. Idea. I've got no idea how to solve this problem. Intend. What do you intend to say to her? Perhaps Tom's silly remark was intended as a joke. Intention. Goal. It had always been his goal to go to university. Aim. Sheila worked hard to achieve her aim of obtaining a university degree. Reality. Some people who are mentally ill cannot tell the difference between reality and fantasy. Ken told everyone that he worked in a bank in London, but in reality he works in a hypermarket. Imagine. Imagination. Her creative imagination helps her to tell excellent stories. Reality check. I think someone needs a reality check here. We can't possibly finish this book in 6 months. Fantasy. Aware. You should always be aware of what's going on around you. Conscious. He was completely conscious of what he was doing. Realise. Do you realise that it's Tuesday already? Come to, came to, came to. And then it came to me that she was talking about another Nigel. Sense. Common sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Nonsense. You don't believe that nonsense about sharks, do you? Sensible. Please be sensible and give me the car keys. You're in no condition to drive. Reason. Just give me one good reason why I should lend you the money. Tim won't listen to reason. Reasonable. Be reasonable. You know I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Motive. Know, knew, known. I know what I'm talking about. Of course I know the area. My grandmother used to live there. Understand.
Understood. Understood.
Understanding. I believe I now have a better understanding of the problem. Grasp. After I explained it to him, Jimmy easily grasped how memory works. Confused. Now I'm confused. Are we going to the cinema or the theatre? Confuse. Our teacher only confused us with her explanation. Confusion. Consider. Consideration. After careful consideration, the committee reached a decision. Judge. Judge for yourself whether it's a good film or a bad film. Decide. Both ideas are great. I can't decide between the two. Decision. Choice. Choose, chose, chosen. Possibility. Option. I'm afraid we have no option but to agree to his proposal. Alternative. Preference. A personal preference. Guess. Your guess is as good as mine. I guess we could go to Holland again next weekend. Suppose. Assume. Assumption. The police are working on the assumption that he killed his wife out of jealousy. Determine. The quality of the results is determined by the standard of the experiment. Solve. Solve a problem. Problem. Solution. We tried our best to work out the solution to the problem. Work out. Figure out. That's when I finally figured out that she was only interested in my money. Prove, proved, proven. Proof. There's no proof that he actually committed the crime. Conclude. Thus it can be concluded that too much money was spent on the project. Conclusion. Come to a conclusion. Draw a conclusion. Memory. When we get older, our memory usually gets worse. I have happy memories of my childhood. Remember. I'm sorry, but I can't seem to remember your name. Benny always remembers to give his wife flowers on her birthday. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Remind. Did you remind Anne to take her key with her? Remind of. Our English teacher reminds me of my aunt.
Character. Attitude. When did you notice that your wife's attitude towards you had changed? Image. I think it's time our company changed its public image. Tendency. I have a strong tendency to put things off until the last minute. Tend. He tends to talk too much when he's had too much to drink. Habit. A good habit. A bad habit. A nasty habit. Fault. A character fault. Self. Selves. James is finally his old self again. Conscience. A clear conscience. A guilty conscience. Behave. I can't take you to the park if you don't behave. Behaviour. Sure. David is very sure of himself. Are you quite sure about that? Certain. I'm quite certain that things are going to get better. Confident. Confidence. Have confidence in somebody. Have confidence in something. Brave. Courage. Superior. He makes me so angry with that superior smile of his. Careful. You should try to be more careful with your money. Careless. Cautious. Ruth has always been extremely cautious about how she spends her money. Curious. I'm curious to know why Ted did that. Nosy. My neighbour's a nosy old cow. She's always watching us from her window. Determined. Lisa is a very determined person. She knows exactly what she wants. Determination. Drive. Initiative. If you want that promotion, you're going to have to show more initiative. Ambition. It's his ambition to become an actor. Quick. Mona's a really quick worker. Lazy. Will. Mike has the strong will necessary to succeed in business. Spirit. He always shows a great deal of spirit, no matter what he does. Reliable. Practical. Her father has a very practical attitude towards life. Responsible. Responsibility. Take responsibility for somebody or something. Duty. A sense of duty. Funny. George is really a very funny guy. Silly. Serious. Joke. Amusing. Sue's so amusing when she tells a story. Joke. Cheerful. I'm not a morning person, but my husband's always wide awake and cheerful. Optimistic. Lively. When I take my young daughter shopping, she is so lively I can hardly keep her in her pushchair. Friendly. Nice. Pleasant. Oliver has such a pleasant personality. Popular. Alison is very popular with all her classmates. Helpful. Charming. Spoilt. a spoilt child. Popularity. Former US President Bill Clinton still enjoys great popularity worldwide. Generous. Even though he hasn't got a lot of money, he's very generous. Mean. Betty is very mean with her money. Kind. It was very kind of you to send a present. Fair. Honest. Deborah's a very honest person who refuses to lie. Open. I don't believe you've been completely open with me about your drinking problem. Stingy. Decent. Dave's the kind of decent guy you'd want as a son-in-law. Openly. Jack was finally able to talk openly about his problem with drugs. Horrible. Mean. Is he always that mean to his sister? Cruel. Nasty. Sarah was really nasty to her husband after he lost his job. Wicked. That was a wicked thing to do. Gentle. Rough. Shy. Daniel's a shy child who doesn't like strangers. Quiet. Loud. Direct. Chris tends to be very direct when talking to people, and this doesn't always make him a lot of friends. Sensitive. Diana's a sensitive child whose feelings are easily hurt. Modest. Nigel is rather modest and doesn't like to talk about his successes. Reserved. Stella's very reserved, and it's difficult to know what's on her mind. Moderate. Steve's a man of fairly moderate views, so he's easy to get along with. Bold. William is a bold leader and has made his company the success that it is today. Patient. Patience. It takes quite a bit of time before my mother loses her patience. Impatient. Bored. Intelligent. Lucy is an intelligent young woman who has always done well at school. Bright. John is one of the brightest pupils I have ever taught. Brilliant. Anna's not just a smart person, she's a brilliant musician as well. Smart. Clever. In politics, it's not enough to be smart. You also have to be clever at getting things done your way. Wise. Stupid. Competent. Convincing. Michael can be so convincing sometimes. He'd have made a great lawyer. Fool. He's a bigger fool than I thought. Foolish.
Able. Can. Unable. Cannot. Enable. This new program enables users to do their calculations more accurately. Ability. Capable. In my opinion, Sharon's a very capable employee. I may be old, but I'm still capable of doing my own shopping. Act. She acts quite friendly, but I don't think she likes me. Action. Aren't you ashamed of your actions? Effort. Make an effort. Try. Attempt. He only got his driving licence after the 3rd attempt. No matter how often she attempted to do the puzzle, she was never able to finish it. Change. Matt thought it was time to change a few things in his life. Try. It's certainly worth a try. Deal with, dealt with, dealt with. Catherine is finally learning to deal with her problems. Handle. I think she handled the situation quite well. Control. Out of control. Under control. When he gets angry, he just can't control himself. Cope. Jack had to be sent to a mental hospital because he could no longer cope. Tracy is learning to cope with her problems. Put up with. I'm sick and tired of always having to put up with my boss's bad temper. Give in. Gave in. Given in. Depend on. I'm depending on you to score goals today, Wayne. Rely on. Continue. Many pupils continued talking during the lesson. Go on, went on, gone on. The girls went on talking although the teacher had asked them to stop. Carry on. After her husband's death, Lucy had to carry on as best she could because of the children. React. Peter reacted angrily to the news that he had lost his job. Reaction. Achieve. Achieve a goal. Achievement. Accident. No, I'm sure he hit his sister by accident. Chance. By chance. Purpose. Yes, he did hit his sister on purpose. Approve. Larry's wife approved of Glenn's taste in clothes. Larry's wife disapproved of Glenn's taste in clothes. Disapprove. Urge. The rest of the team urged Ed to finish the game. Encourage. Discourage. We tried to discourage Bill from leaving his wife, but he wouldn't listen.